there, and welcome to Talking to the Dead. I am Janet Kubik, and just before we started, it took me a minute because I have to keep clearing my throat, which you may know because I've probably referenced it before on here is a sign for me that the energy in the room is amping up, that spirit has indeed, that's another one, indeed, something to say. So I think we're ready to just jump right in. Laughter is the word that I hear. Just before I came on, I heard the name Judd Apatow. And I think that's how you say it. And my understanding is that he's a director and he directs comedies. So to me, there's something going on here in regards to laughter and the concept of laughter. And somebody stepping in right away, right off the bat, here we go, and saying there's far too little of it. There's far too little laughter in your world. I'm going to say at this time, but then they didn't allow me to go there for some reason. So it doesn't feel like it's necessarily time specific. It's just feeling like in general, somehow there's not enough laughter. We tend to forget that even though we are enduring these hardships at times and going through these transitions, as we evolve as humans and our whole world evolves, that we're not here just for the hard stuff. We're not here just to, transmute the negative energies into positive energies and, have the dark nights of the soul and go through all the grief and the pain. And yes, those are definitely a part of the experience, but equally, and even sometimes more valuably, if that's the right word, if there's the joy, there's the high vibrations of love and light and indeed laughter. So as I'm talking to you, it's interesting. It feels like this sort of mix between my own self speaking to you and also the influence of my guide Myrtle at the same time. And this is something that, again, I'm noticing a little bit more in my own personal journey as my own story and evolves, is that the word, or unfolds, that things are constantly changing. And the way that spirit communicates with me and through me is continually changing. And this is sort of a newer piece for me. And I think they're highlighting it right now because they're talking about the idea to me right now in my head of integration and how we're learning as a species to integrate our higher selves, our intuition into our beings, so that we're not necessarily so separate or separated from spirit or the energies of the other side or the outer worlds or realms, however you want to call it, that we're really allowing them and our own spirit selves and souls to become more fully integrated into who we are as human beings. She says, so this is why that line sort of seems to be a bit blurred. Also in that we as our higher selves, our soul selves, our spirit selves are a wealth of knowledge. We have all of the information. We know the same things, so to speak, as those who exist in these outer realms or in the spiritual realm or on the other side. We have access to the same information simply through our own selves, through our own soul's remembrance or understanding of how all of this works and of who we are. So the message today is about allowing ourselves to tap into our own intuition, our own knowledge, our own soul's ability to support and guide us, just as we look to spirit for messages and guidance. We have access to that within our own selves. We're not so separate or as separate as we've been maybe led to believe. And it's time to sort of reunite those aspects of ourselves all together. Oh, and then the thought just sort of abruptly ended there. That was one of those cases where even though I was speaking some of it. I'm not entirely sure what was said, but the key word that's standing out to me right now is the idea of integration. They're also now jumping in to talk a little bit, I'm tripping up my words, a little bit about physical integration, and how it's going to be beneficial for all moving forward to understand that as we open up to higher levels of consciousness, as we expand our awareness and shift and alter our energy fields, this too will have a significant impact on our physical bodies, on the physicality or physiological aspects of the human experience or being a human. Many times we sort of disregard the signs and symbols of, or signs and symptoms, I think was more accurate, of energetic shifts within our own being. We have come to know to label things from a physical perspective or physical ailments. However, a lot of times what our body is reflecting or representing to us is indeed stemming from an energetic shift, a shift in our DNA, even a shift in our vibration or within our fields. And the more we can become aware of this and become attuned to it and ultimately learn the language, she's saying, of our own bodies as they're communicating with us, again, the easier the ride, so to speak, because you won't necessarily be panicking, thinking there's something physically wrong every time you feel a certain infliction or ailment is how it's coming forward. We're going to learn how our bodies are moving through this transition just as much as our hearts and our souls, our spirits, our minds. And again, sort of an abrupt pause, which also for me is interesting because this seems to be a newer thing too, where it's just this like influx of information and then there's just this pause and it sort of stops completely for a second. So I'm honing back in to see if there's anything else that they want to share. They're saying there's just so much transpiring at this time. There could be the propensity for overwhelm, which is why they are trying to come through at this time. Specifically, they're saying with this series of 6. And as she says that, that makes me think about the fact that we're on the 6th podcast in season 3. This series of 6 is very much intended as a support system or a means of support as you are all shifting through these transitioning times. They're saying we have tried to bring forward information that will help to stabilize you, help to motivate you, help to keep you grounded during these shakable, is how I'm hearing it, shakable times. Many of you who are tuning in at this time are already aware of the shifts that are transpiring to some degree or on some level, and therefore they're trying to help to, she sort of says the word educate, but for some reason I'm not sure that, like, I'm not getting the vibe that that's the exact word she wants to use, but that's the vibe that I'm getting, is like to help educate people, to help give people information that will be supportive as you are moving through this transitional journey at this time. And she specifically at this time said at this time. So that's, again, one of those common phrases that I find keeps coming forward. And also another reference that at this time is whenever you come across this. We all have our own path and our own journey and our own timeline for awakening or remembering or just on our own journeys. And so whenever you find this message and this statement at this time appears for you, you didn't miss the boat, she says. If this was recorded long before it finds you, it's speaking to you in the moment that you receive it. So that being said, I still feel like the energy is present and they have a little more to say. So I'm going to try to sort of focus back in again. And it's interesting. I just feel this sort of sigh, to be honest. And there's almost like a smiley energy coming forward, just saying, we know, We know. We get it. We know what you're being asked to do. Your minds are changing. Your bodies are changing. Your society is changing. And it's a lot. And we get that. And we just want you to know how appreciated you are, how proud we are of all of you for facing these tumultuous times, these uncertain times, these somewhat frightening times, as your world as you know it is in many ways being dismantled in order to be rebuilt or put back together, so to speak. Sorry, that was my bad. um, and with that said, again, just there's this sense of compassion. And again, this knowingness, like, yes, we get it. You're not alone. We are with you. And again, the word appreciation is showing up. We do appreciate all that you are doing at this time in the evolution of humanity. There is a very positive sense. The word I'm hearing is undercurrent. So even though the water on the surface appears choppy, I'm seeing an ocean now with massive waves. Deep underneath those waves, there is calm, and there's peace, and there's stillness, and there's stability. It's not the entire ocean that is experiencing the turbulence that exists on the surface. And like such, your existence is similar in that the turbulence you are feeling is very much on the surface. You are very much riding the waves. However, underneath it all, there is a calm stability. And when we are finding it overbearing to be traversing the waves or the stormy seas, we can always access that stillness by going within, by tuning into our own selves and tuning out the noise, so to speak, tuning into our own calm, grounded energy, as opposed to connecting with those more turbulent energies that are swirling or floating around outside of us. At this time, I am feeling a very intense headache, and I've had it for a little bit, but for some reason they're calling attention to it. So I'm just asking why it's important to mention it to all of you, why you need to know I have a headache right now, or why it's best for you to know. And it feels like a callback, they're saying, or a throwback to the earlier part of the conversation where they want today specifically to highlight the physical body, as our bodies are also transforming at this time. And it does mean we will feel new things. We will feel things that feel unknown. And often when we come across the unknown, we go into fight or flight. We go into fear. And they're just assuring us or reassuring us that that's not necessary, that we are safe. It's just different. We're just experiencing different things as our bodies, and the word that I hear is upgrade, or attune to higher frequencies. It's always fun for me when they're talking about things like frequencies and energy, and because it's just so out of my normal way of thinking or being, to talk about energy in that kind of way prior to this whole experience for me. So I find that kind of fun. But again, just really honoring the physical body and how unique it is and how special it is in this experience for all of us to enjoy living in these dense energies that are kind of the way they're saying is like holding us all together. These lower vibrational energies are what keeps us all together. I hear the word molecules. So it's keeping us together. It's keeping us in these bodies, or giving us the opportunity to have these bodies. And it feels, again, like a very unique experience being here and being human. And then again, just sort of a pause. I'm actually getting the wrap it up sign. this feels to me like it's been a very short episode, but again, I try to allow myself to go with the flow and follow their guidance. I just heard someone say, "Peace be with you." And there was a visual that came into my mind, and it was sort of this feeling like the prayer position, or what you would consider maybe a prayer position. And again, the words were, "Peace be with you." It feels like a very big energy is the best way to describe it. Very vast energy that has this particular message for us at this time. And then my own guide just stepped in, as she's been present as well, Myrtle, and she says, "In love and light, my friend, amen." So again, I have a feeling that that's it for this episode. I'm also getting a sense, and we'll see, because we always go with the flow around here, that this might be it for season 3. It feels as though there were 6 very specific messages that were intended to be delivered at this time. So continue to keep an eye out, and I'm very happy to continue to share with you. So just keep an eye out for how that shows up, whether it's a season 4 or something new, but I am getting the sense of wrap up the season. So with that said, all of my love and light to all of you. Thank you again so much for tuning in, and I will see you again soon. Bye.